Subway stands among the most widespread eateries globally, statistically speaking. Many watching this are mere minutes away from one right now. Consider this. If a sudden hankering for their classic Italian BMT or buffalo chicken struck you, I'd wager most could stroll into a Subway and have a custom-made order before this video ends. It's remarkable. Since 2002, more Subways exist in the US than any other fast food chain, surpassing giants like Starbucks and McDonald's. Surprisingly, despite boasting 20,000 locations, it's a drop from their peak. Subway's woes began in 2016 when closures exceeded openings for the first time, and since then, nearly 1,000 stores vanish annually. It's an ominous sign, losing patrons, grappling with reputation issues, prompting significant changes to reverse the tide. The Subway saga brims with events. Here, I'll delve into their unprecedented growth, the pitfalls encountered, and the strategies to steer the ship back. Simplicity played a pivotal role. Unlike counterparts, Subway shunned elaborate equipment like broilers or fryers, leading to reduced costs and space requirements. Their origin story dates to 1965 when a 17-year-old Fred DeLuca sought funds for college. Partnering with nuclear engineer Peter Buck, they launched Pete's Super Submarines in Bridgeport, Connecticut, with a $1,000 investment. Dubbed Doctor's Associates, in homage to DeLuca's medical aspirations and Buck's physics doctorate, it initially suffered confusion, radio ads rendering Pete's Submarines as Pizza Marines, prompting the name change to Subway to clear the air. DeLuca did manage to gather enough funds for college, earning a psychology degree eventually. However, the business transcended mere tuition fees. Despite expanding to 16 locations after 9 years, falling short of their envisioned 32 by decade's end, they kickstarted a franchising program. This initiative allowed others to open Subway outlets, paying the company for rights. The business's simplicity proved advantageous. Historically, a Subway franchise demanded comparatively lower investments, smaller spaces, and less equipment, attracting numerous aspiring franchisees. Their adaptability was evident in unconventional locations like movie theaters, gas stations, and hospitals, making Subway the most franchised restaurant ever. Success also stemmed from their emphasis on freshness, value, and health traits wise for any restaurant to tout. Their focus on freshness included offering freshly cut vegetables for sandwich customization and baking dough at restaurants, a rarity in fast food back in 1983. The aroma of freshly baked bread became a customer magnet. The fresh concept pervades Subway's branding. Their famous slogan, "Eat Fresh," exemplifies this. Even in the store, you'll spot fresh peppered across menus, wrappers, and napkins, a testament to their commitment. Regarding value, Subway's competitive pricing ethos began early. Their milestone sale of over 300 sandwiches, priced between 49 cents and 69 cents each, exemplified this. Yet, the most iconic was their $5 footlong promotion, backed by an unforgettable jingle in early 2008. Its launch, just preceding a major stock market crash, strategically highlighted Subway's food value, capitalizing on the timing. And finally, for health, all of those vegetables and the idea that has been promoted by countless athletes over the years, notably Michael Strahan, Michael Phelps, Blake Griffin, and Happy Gilmore. This fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty turkey-filled cold-cut combo. But easily, the most successful way they have promoted the health of their sandwiches was with Jared Fogle. He was a college student that lost 245 pounds by eating Subway twice a day. The college newspaper wrote an article about it, so learned about the story, and he quickly became a spokesperson for them. I mean, this guy became an unlikely sensation. People were calling him the Subway guy. He was featured in over 300 commercials over a 15-year span, many of which showed him holding up his pair of 60-inch pants that he used to wear before he lost the weights. He was at the center of a South Park episode, and their chief marketing officer has said that he attributes as much as half of their growth over that time to that campaign. So yeah, freshness, value, and health. That's what Subway wants you to associate with them, and in my opinion, they have done a really good job in doing that over the years. But as I showed earlier, things have taken a turn for the worst. So this video is about to get much more depressing as I outlined what I believe to be 5 of the biggest reasons behind that trouble. To start, I believe Subway's expansion led to an overabundance of locations. 27,000 across the US may have been excessive. It's reminiscent of the lesson from Jurassic Park. Just because you can do something doesn't mean it's wise. Subways ended up competing against each other, undermining sales as they clustered too closely. Even the original Subway, named after Pete, didn't perform well. DeLuca's strategy seemed focused on the illusion of success. By growing, people assumed popularity equated to quality. Labeling Subway as the biggest fast food chain might mislead. While they boast more locations, it doesn't correlate with higher customer traffic. System-wide sales, a more fitting metric, reveal McDonald's, Starbucks, and others to be ahead. Subway's per-location sales are unusually low. For instance, Chick-fil-A, with far fewer outlets, generates double the sales per site. Comparatively, even among similar sandwich chains, Subway lags noticeably. This hints that Subway prioritized quantity of locations over establishing efficient and profitable ones. My next reason behind their decline is the passing of Fred DeLuca. Now, this might sound contradictory to my previous reason in some way, but I want to be clear that even though his approach toward running Subway may not have been the safest or even the smartest in some aspects, he is still the main person behind Subway. Easily one of the biggest success stories of all time. As a teenager, he took $1,000 and over the next 50 years, it became a billionaire with it. He was known to be heavily involved with the company, sometimes even going into a restaurant wearing a disguise so he can sample the food and check up on things at the store level. In 2013, he was diagnosed with leukemia, and by 2015, control of the day-to-day operations was passed to his sister. Shortly before he passed away, it was a distracting time over at Subway, to say the least, where the management wasn't exactly on top of their game. And following that situation, the person who knew the company and arguably cared about it more than anyone else was no longer there to guide it. I think it is worth pointing out that the correlation is there. Subway sales started falling in 2015. Right after he died, next up on the list is disastrous campaigns. It's unfortunate, but both of their biggest ad campaigns, Jared Fogle and the $5 footlong, turned into complete disasters. For Jared, it's upsetting to even talk much about this one, but I'm guessing you already know that he is far from the inspirational role model that many people once saw him as. I'm just going to say that in 2015, notice that yet again, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison for crimes involving minors. Now, it's not quite as severe with the $5 footlongs. I mean, I would sure hope not, but that one also turned sour after about 4 or 5 years. They almost had to start phasing it out because it was becoming impractical to maintain that price point. Then after things started falling in 2018, I think that they were getting desperate because they tried to force it back in a slightly different way as the 4.99 feet long. It didn't last long because they still couldn't afford to do it, and the franchisees got upset with the company over it. So it hurt the relationships there, and they were left without any of their proven campaigns to fall back on. Another reason behind the decline is a series of various scandals, and I want to be clear that from my viewpoint anyway, there's hardly any validity to any of these. But for whatever reason, every few years, there are these wild accusations being reported about the food over at Subway. For example, in 2013, a photo posted by a teenager in Australia had everyone talking about how Subway's footlongs are only 11 inches. In 2017, the new thing was that their chicken was only made of 50% chicken. In 2021, the new thing was that their tuna isn't actually tuna. Again, these are seemingly erroneous or exaggerated stories that I would say unfairly have been hurting Subway's reputation. People hear about a story like that and start going to Jimmy John's or one of the other, so you can see how this can hurt them. To cap it off, the brand hit a stagnation point. Seeking revival, they brought in a new CEO, John Chidsey, renowned for his turnaround success at Burger King. Chidsey's arrival marked a crucial shift, deeming Subway's menu stale due to years of minimal alteration, partly due to Frank DeLuca's illness and ensuing upheaval. In July 2021, they launched the Eat Fresh Refresh, the most extensive menu overhaul in Subway's history. Introducing new sandwiches, ingredients, and a tilt towards standardized offerings, this move garnered attention from renowned athletes like Steph Curry and Tom Brady. A staggering $80 million was invested in restaurant meat slicers, shifting from pre-sliced to on-site slicing, marked as one of the brand's most intricate changes. Efforts to enhance corporate talent involved enticing professionals through equity compensation plans and bonuses. In a pivotal 2023 move, they were acquired by Roark Capital, a private equity firm that owns various fast food chains, including Jimmy John's. This marked the end of Subway's long-standing tenure as a family-owned business, signaling yet another phase in their transformation journey. So, big changes have been happening over at Subway. If you haven't been there for a while, you might be shocked at how different things are, and it seems likely that they may continue to progress. And there have been some positive indicators, like the fact that their sales per location have been improving. Do you agree with my rundown of their challenges? It's not exhaustive, but I stand by it as a fair summary. If you think something should be tweaked or added, let me know. And when you visit Subway, what's your go-to order? I'm usually drawn to the buffalo chicken, but is there something I've overlooked? Any recommendations for my next visit? Share any other Subway-related thoughts. I'm eager to hear your perspective. Thanks for sharing your thoughts.